Alright, there it is.
I think of your bones, and I think your bones were made in an elsewhere place. How else does one explain this inconceivable strength that makes you? The way you look into danger's mouth and see no cemetery or death. Instead, carve your name into its teeth with a switchblade. Defeat it so effortlessly and throw your head back and laugh. Paradox girl, mighty woman, you are the thing that terrifies them. Both monster and maiden, both cure and poison, all of these things, and at the same time human. Defined by no man, you are your own story, blazing through the world, turning history into herstory. And when they dare to tell you about all the things you cannot be, you smile and tell them, I am both war and woman, and you cannot stop me. This is a poem called An Ode to a Fearless Woman by Nikita Gill. Good morning, ladies. Good morning, ladies of NLJ.
Good morning.
So it has been a very tumultuous week, right? And we've come to this Friday to celebrate you women, as International Women's Day is tomorrow the 8th, but you know we can't be here, so we're celebrating today. The theme for this year's celebration is Accelerate Action. I know the women in here are very goal-oriented, very driven, hard-working, always overachieving, and I love that for y'all. So before we go any further, I'm going to invite Miss Karine Baugh to offer a word of prayer, right, to get it started.
Good morning. Before we pray, I'm going to just ask you to join with me in singing this song. Wide, wide as the ocean, you know it? High as the heaven above, deep as the deepest sea is my Savior's love. I, though so unworthy, still am a child of His care. For His word teaches me that His love reaches me everywhere. You know it? No? Wide, wide as the ocean, high as the heavens above, deep, deep as the deepest sea is my Savior's love. I, though so unworthy, still am a child of His care. For His word teaches me that His love reaches me everywhere. Again. Wide, wide as the ocean, high as the heavens above, deep, deep as the deepest sea is my Savior's love. I, though so unworthy, still am a child of His care. For His word teaches me that His love reaches me everywhere. You don't know that? You know it? Okay then. You came back to it. Yes, because it's something we usually sing in primary school, but we have maybe outgrown primary school and all that we were taught. Let us stand and adopt an attitude of reverence as we pray. Let us pray. Our Lord and our Father, we thank you for this wonderful opportunity that you have granted us. We are once more standing on the land of the living. It's not because we are worthy or we are good or stronger than anybody else, but it's only because of your grace, your love, and your mercies. So forgive us, Father, we have sinned. Wash us and cleanse us from our unrighteousness. And we pray, dear Lord, that you will be in our midst and be with the proceedings. May you bless each participant, and may we learn from each other and be strengthened as we strengthen one another. These mercies we ask. We thank you also, Lord, for the men in our midst. Strong men they are, supportive, good. We pray, dear Lord, that you will surround them with your love. Provide for them and protect them, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Mrs. Barr. At this time, we're going to loosen up a bit. So I'm going to ask everyone to find a partner. So we're going to stand in the spaces that are available. We are going to find a partner. I'm asking that you choose someone who is not from your branch or division. Everybody. It's for women, but if we do not have equal numbers, we are going to ask the men to fill in. So we're going to do a demonstration.
Be careful of the camera, be careful of the camera, please.
Step away from the chairs and fill out the spaces. There's a lot of space at the back there. So it's an instruction game, right? The song goes, ring belly yo, my baby got dimples. Ring belly yo, my baby got dimples. So you're gonna follow the actions by saying knee, 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 knee. So you're going to match knees. When I say belly, you stop. Belly is stop. No. If I say ankle, we match ankles. If I say down with the ankle, you go down with the ankle. If I say up with the ankle, you come up with it. So it can be elbow, ankle, back, knee. Right? And hips. So we're gonna start. Ring belly yo, my baby got dimples. Ring belly yo, my baby got dimples. Back, 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 belly. Ring belly yo, my baby got dimples. Ring belly yo, my baby got dimples. Knees, 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 knees. Down with the knees, down with the knees. Down with the knees, down with the knees. Up with the knees, up with the knees. Belly. Ring belly yo, my baby got dimples. Ring belly yo, my baby got dimples. Elbows, 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 elbows. Turn with the elbow, turn with the elbow. Turn with the elbows, belly. Ring belly yo, my baby got dimples. Belly yo, my baby got dimples. Back, 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 back. Down with it back, 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 down with it back. Up with it back, up with it back, down with it back, down with it back, down with it back, down with it back. Up with it back, up with it back. All right. So my friend, our seats. All right, so everybody warm now. All right, at this time, I'm going to invite Mr. Hugh Bowman to give the director's address.
Good morning. Allow me to catch my breath. Stop going. Maybe because I was dancing. So good morning, ladies, especially, and the few gentlemen that are here. Today we come together to celebrate International Women's Day. The National Library Staff Association thought it important that we gather and recognize the women of the National Library of Jamaica. the National Library Staff Association, in collaboration with the National Library of Jamaica, thought important that we celebrate women, our ladies. Now the session and discussion is dedicated to celebrating the contributions, your strength, and of course your resilience. Why do we set aside a day like this? What does it mean to truly recognize the impact of our women in our workplace here at National Library and in the communities that we occupy? How can we ensure that this recognition extends beyond just today? Now I just saw this stats that we're pretty much half and half in our society. So the 28 statistics from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica says that females was 1.38 million, while the men were 1.35 million. Now walking on the road every day in the workplace, it sounds like statistics I tell lie. It seems like we have like quarter men and 75% women. Going to colleges, going to workplaces, a lot of women. So you guys occupy some very important spaces, and it speaks to your impact in society. We can say where the other men are, but we'll leave that for another day. Each of you has played a vital role in shaping brand NLJ. Your work has been noticed, and your efforts have made a difference. Let us take this moment to reflect on the progress made and the steps still needed. Let us ask ourselves this. How can we continue to support and uplift one another, each woman right here? So I want to thank you for stepping away from your decks. Thanks for stepping away from your busy workplace and otherwise how you'd be busy. I'm speaking to our presenters right here. And also, I believe that this will be an exciting session and discussion as we explore, discover, and connect. You guys know where that comes from, right? Yeah, man. Comes from behind me. So I believe this will be a good session. So let's move forward. Have a blessed day. And ladies, welcome. Enjoy.
All right, so at this time, I'm going to ask 3 women to say something about another woman that you admire. Don't volunteer all at once. Keisha, as a manager.
Can I sit? Morning, everyone. I'll choose Mrs. Baugh for her kindness, willingness, always have a good word, always ready to assist, easy to talk to, so that much I admire, and I liked her a lot.
All right, so I can second that. I look forward to Mrs. Ball's devotion every morning, religiously, even on weekends. Mrs. Ball?
Okay, now, I admire all the ladies here, but I'm going to pick out one manager specifically for this, Mrs. Stamp. Reason for that, as auditors, we often get pushback from certain things, and when we send out report and we want them to respond, people fail to respond. Omar can back me up on this one. Ms. Stamp report, respond promptly, and even after she responds, she say another day or two, did I respond to your query? So as an auditor, I find working with Mrs. Stamp and requesting things for Mrs. Stamp kind of easy, because she understood in my mind the role of the auditor and that we all need each other. So I would like to just big up Mrs. Stamp.
Big up Miss Stamp. All the time. I got right down there. Are you may come to?
Yeah, man.
You're short.
All right, good morning, everyone. big up all the NLJ ladies, but most of all I would like to big up Nardia. She's new and she's a fast learner. Yeah, she's a very fast learner and she does exceptionally well in carrying out her tasks. So Nadia, I give you up.
Alright, big up Nadia. I want to big up Miss Josette. Lovely lady. Easy to talk to. She always checks on you. Yeah, so big up yourself, Josette. Also, I want to big up Stacy, but she's not there. So when she reach, we big up Stacy. Alright. So at this time,
Yeah, bigger up little snacks.
yeah, she at this time, we're going to have live poetry by Miss Anne Margaret Lim. Our guest is a distinguished poet whose work has captivated audiences both locally and internationally. And Margaret Lim is an author of Kingston Buttercup and the Festival of Wild Orchid, with her collections earning recognitions from the Bocas Prize and the UK Guardian First Book Prize. A Calabash Fellow, she has shared her poetry at literary festivals across the Caribbean, Latin America, and Europe, including the Bergen International Literature Festival and the Bocas Lit Fest. Her work has been featured in the Academy of American Poets Poem a Day series, Orion Magazine, and Wasafiri. That's correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yasafari?
No, what's the theory?
Wasafiri. Okay. Beyond her writing, she has helped to shape Caribbean literature as a judge for the Bocas Prize and the Bocas Emerging Writers Fellowship. We are honored to have her join us for our Women's Voices segment. Let's please welcome Anne Margaret Lim.
Morning, everyone. All right, but thank you. I think you definitely made that awesome. It's good. It didn't no. All right. Okay. All right. So when I got the invitation and I was looking through the poems that I have in both books, I realized that I really do have a lot of women poems in the voices of women, and so this name, Women's Voices, I didn't choose it, but whoever did, excellent job. Thank you. It definitely fits. Who chose it? Ah, thank you. All right, so the very first poem I'm going to do is The Festival of Wild Orchid. That's the name of the first book, right? Somebody knows it, I think. So, just this person, who is she? Right? Festival of Wild Orchid. It was death. Alright, let's start over. 1. It was death. Right in the ocean, in a tomb of bodies. So she held an ancestor waking whole to her grandmother's spirit in the trees So she held an ancestor waking whole to her grandmother's spirit in the trees, who stripped bare, begged the West Indies to fit her granddaughter with wild orchid leaves and the hardiness of a tree. 2. A tree stands bare, naked, like the first African woman to stand on this island with a swelling ocean for a tongue, and a cry that stripped the trees of all the leaves. Mark it. It is a festival of wild orchid. So, where I live, my neighbor had a wild orchid tree. Thank you. And it's the purple orchid, right? There's another name for it, poor man's orchid. Right? And it's really beautiful, and then she just pruned it. That's the word. She pruned it, and just seeing it bare like that, it made me think of our ancestor, maybe the very first one of the ship, right? All right. So my second poem is gonna be Mambo Munto, reads poetry in the Caribbean. When I went to Calabash some years ago, I tried to go to all of them. Next year, well, this year is going to be awesome. So when I was at Calabash some years back, Sonia Sanchez, right? She said something because Calabash, the sea is behind you, and she's very in tune, like many of us should be. So the first 3 lines is what she said in her American accent, of course. So she said, "The sea greets me, but I feel too the pain. Let me turn my back instead of a face to the sea of the Caribbean." And this is my response. And the sea echoed and swelled as she read. It pounded and exploded, and as her eyes clouded, a poem trembled in my skin to know the black pearl eyes, deep and calm and agitated as a sea, drowned with this woman who swallowed the ocean. And when time comes, she appears with black pearl eyes, seaweed locks, and a balm of deep sea poetry for the kin scattered like shells on the beaches of the Caribbean. Yeah. So sometimes people inspire you that much. So I'm going to do 2 more, well, more than 2 more, but these 2 are taken from or inspired from having read Thomas Thistlewood's diary. He was a overseer, not the owner, not a slave master at the beginning, but an overseer who then had his plantation after. So I'm going to do Susanna, and it's part of a longer poem as a response to Thistlewood's diary. So the entire poem is on reading Thistlewood's diary. I'm going to read section 2, Susanna, then section 3, Fibber. Susanna, that's my name. Don't confuse it with the open air savannah. If you look me up in miserable slavery, you'll find me listed under children with Congo in bracket, page 9. I was part of the picnic gang in 1751 when he first took me in the curing house. And I wet in bed, I wet the bed him take me in. Each time I wet the bed, but him never stop. And you, who find him diary and call me favorite, tell the world how them whip me and Mazarin for refusing Bakra and him friend. Tell the world how Thomas Thistlewood and slavery ruined me. So this one now is Dear Fibber. So Susanna, you'd realize, was underage, alright? She's a pedophile. And Fibber was not underage. Alright, so Dear Fibber, your name half rhymes with Siva, the dance move that's in. So when I think of you, I say Siva, 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 like in the song. But you know, Fibber, it's not a bad comparison. For when women shiver, they squat. For when women shiver, they squat for takeoff, spread wings and fly. When they shiver, fibber, their feet remember the wheels and turns you did at fellow slaves' wake singing. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. And the takeoff, when the body comes fully into play, resembles the throwing off of shackles. And I sing, Siva, 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 and think of you, Fibber. in miserable slavery. How you suffered through each infection Thistlewood gave you. As he combed every skirt, it crossed his mind too. How you must have wailed when his son, your mulatto child, died. This wasn't in the diary. He kept it dignified. And as the women released in Siva, 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 their hands like albatross wings, I think, Thibaut, in what moment did you hatch your freedom plan on this confounded man? Because if you read it, you'd realize that when he died, he left her his, his plantation. He had a plantation afterwards. But what did she have to go through? All right. So the next one I'm going to do is grandmommy. So when I realized I do have a good amount of female voices, I'm trying to tell a story now from what could be the beginning of our space or this female space in this country that we're in. So grandmommy, a little bit moving up. I just want to say thank you so much for inviting me. I don't get a lot of chances to read, and I do like it. I do like it a lot. So thanks. Grandmommy. Grandmommy's mommy was a Puerto Rican. And as grandmommy say, her daddy was a true blood Coromantin man. Grandmommy say, I remind her of her Puerto Rican mommy, the way I stand in front of the mirror and fix my face like so and so. Grandmommy's mommy was a Puerto Rican. And as grandmommy say, her daddy was a true blood Coromantin man. Alright, so you see, because I don't get to read it a lot, let me just go with what I'm looking at. Grandmommy say, I remind her of her Puerto Rican mommy, the way I stand in front of the mirror and fix my hair like so and so. She used to say, the same way so your great grandmommy used to tan, with her little waist and her long hair in front of the mirror, I fix her face. Grandmommy's mommy was a Puerto Rican, and as grandmommy say, her daddy was a true blood Coromantin man. And when my grandmommy come from foreign, she sit and spin and spread. She sit and spin and pedal the sewing machine, make skirt and frock and blouse, fair little Coromantin, quarter Chinese, Puerto Rican girl. So what I hope you're gonna see is what most people's lives or mixtures are in the Caribbean, in Jamaica. I'm gonna read Leaves for my other grandmother, the other side. Right, so Leaves. In November, autumn in China, I'm on the bus watching an old man raking leaves as they fall. He collects them. So no leaf stays long enough for you to remember it there on the road. What stays is the old man raking leaves, collecting them as they fall. And I think I see why Popo, who hopped the boat from China to the island, rakes leaves morning, evening. So Popo, the Hakga, those are the ones who came into Jamaica from Guangdong, China. So, Popo is grandma and Jagung is grandpa. Like, Japo is really Popo, we just shorten it to say Popo instead of saying Japo, and then Jagung, so then it will be Gungung. Alright, so that's Leaves, and one more for that grandmother who's no longer with us. She died in 2014. Alright. Just showing you the women also in my life. Cha and Michan. Cha is what you guys know as tea, right? You think it's the cha from India, but growing up with my Chinese grandmother, we had cha all the time. Pretty British too, right? But the Chinese drink a lot of tea and they call it cha. So, page 22. I'm going to show you the cover soon of this book. It's called Kingston Buttercup. Do you see the yellow flower? So that's a Kingston Buttercup. And it, to me, is so close to what living in Jamaica is like. It's very beautiful on the top. It's a weed, actually, but it has thorns. So Kingston, Jamaica is a very beautiful country, but there are thorns, right? So, cha and michan. There's a Chinese girl in pantaloons pouring out cha on the bone china tea set. She reminds me of you, Popo, making cha in the morning. There were times you'd stand in front of the stove and make meat chang, boiling the sugar with lime juice till it was a sticky syrup. You'd pour it on the bed of Rice Krispies and roll up in the peanuts laid out on grease-proof paper, then wait for it to set, to cut it into squares. Popo, as I sip Bunjenmi tea from the Egret River brand, I imagine now the two of us in a ritual of cha and michan. All right, almost finished. I'm going to read Edna. It's Edna Manley, apart from being the wife of Norman Manley and the mother of Michael Manley. She is a renowned artist, and the art school is named after her. So I was really happy to have gone to Nomney and to just feel her so much in that place. Oh my gosh. And then to go into that place where she did her painting and her artwork, her workshop. I was very, I don't know, it stayed with me for so long. It's still with me. And as a matter of fact, isn't tomorrow her birthday? Isn't it March 8th? Google, please, just Google and let me know. Because I remember years ago when I read her diary, I think I saw that it was March 8th, but please just verify for me. So Edna, I think it would be fitting to read Edna. Edna, the first time I went to Nomney, it was supposed to be no admission because it was a private residence. But the person who, put it up, I guess he couldn't spell it, so it was Nomney, and they liked it. The first time I went to Nomney, I took some shrubs and stuck them in my grandmother's garden. She loves flowers like you did, or do you still in that world? I should have asked the air for them before I plucked the yellow faces, but I thanked you in whisper as we tucked them in a new bed, and I told my grandmother the things I saw, the pine tree you molded a love seat in. I told her of the azaleas, the rose bed, the driveway that was a walk in the woods littered with pine cones like an English scene in the Blue Mountains, your summer retreat from John Blair. I told her of the pictures. I saw Michael's rippled chest and the handsome smugness holding a swimmer's trophy, and Grandma, they looked happy. Two simple people nestled on a step. I find myself standing in your study again, the workshop really, where I imagine you shaped the heads of horses and wooden rainbows. Sometime after you woke and opened the window out to a blue mountain morning. Alright? Francina, is it almost done? It's time. Alright. Maybe I'll just do one last one for everybody here. It's It's not in any of the books, and it's called Keep Me Burning. And it probably is something that most of us women do in the mornings when we're getting ready to go to work. So that one last one. Everybody know that song. Give me oil in my lamp, keep me burning. Give me oil in my lamp, I pray. Give me oil in my lamp, keep me burning. Keep me burning till the break of day. She sings before work in the morning in the kitchen, tending to herself and her daughter. The birds soup renew her, so too the soft rose morning unveiling itself just for her. In the kitchen, preparing to go to work with the others. All right, have a wonderful International Women's Day, and thank you again for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. Did y'all enjoy the poetry? Yes, we did. All right, Keisha? Yeah. And Francina? Yeah. All right, so now we're going to have our guest speaker. Our guest speaker is a dedicated professional with a strong commitment to cultivating and thriving work environment for young individuals. Mr. Nikhil Campbell currently serves as the registrar at the Office of the Services Commission. In addition to his role, he is the co-chair of the JCSA Men's Coalition and actively participates in various community initiatives. Through his work, he strives to create an environment where young employees feel inspired, motivated, and empowered to make meaningful contributions to their organizations and communities. His vision is centered on fostering a prosperous environment that benefits individuals, workplaces, and our cherished nation, Jamaica. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Nikhil Campbell.
Good morning, everyone. I must say, it's a good feeling here in an introduction like that. It makes me kind of feel important. Alright, so before I get into what I was going to say, I was there sitting and listening to all the beautiful things that everyone got to share about women. And then, you know what, I say, you know, I don't feel left out. I gotta say something too. Alright, so basically, you know, I'm going to express my, you know, gratitude to being around women, you know. Jamaican, man. I love women. Yes, so.
So
yes,
it for
I'm
go.
sure. Oh.
So it for go.
Yes, so I will just start by when I came into the working field. Alright, so I have been around women, especially at my years at the parish library. I remember there were some older ladies, you know, they would always come to me and say, Mr. Campbell, make sure you do what you're supposed to do, you know. And if you go back to school, you know, they are always, don't be like them man here. Some of them, they just want to waste time. And that was a recurring thing, you know, they always came and they encouraged me to do what I can and become the best of the best, you know, to uplift myself. And I remember even instances when they used to say, ah, look how your mother, you feel food, you know. Yeah, so, yeah, back then, when did mother, my head did big. Yeah, so, the thing is, I was trying to go somewhere with this. They see the potential. Yeah, they saw it both in my career, in my, how would I say, in my life. So they wanted me to become equipped to take on the world, both mentally, educationally, and physically. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, as you can see the fruits of the labor now, everything kind of match up. Yeah. Yeah, it balanced now. Yeah, so yeah, that I was trying to share my experience to kind of lighten the mood as well. Alright, so yes, good morning everyone. Happy International Women's Day 2025. Alright, so my name is Nikhil Campbell, as you heard before, one of the co-chairs for the JCSA Men's Coalition. So today I stand before you with a sense of celebration and responsibility. As I said before, I celebrate the women. We celebrate the incredible strides we have made towards gender equality in the workplace and acknowledge the critical role men play in accelerating the progress. Because in order to get equality, you need some help from the men. Yeah, because if we are the oppressor, come on man, the oppressor have to agree to, don't. Yeah, and as men, we see the importance of equity within the workplace. We need it. You can't have the pendulum only heavy on one side. Today's theme, accelerating action, resonates deeply within our mission as men of the JCSA. We've witnessed significant positive changes in the workplace dynamics. And I'm proud to say that we men of the JCSA Coalition Committee has been a driving force in this progress. As much as we are more centered towards men, we do see the importance of women. We have seen men become more vocal allies, champions for equal opportunities. Because like I said before, men, we see the importance of having women within the workplace. And actively participate in creating a more inclusive and equitable workplace. And this even extends within the homes. For example, the recent bill that has been passed, the men's paternity leave, which now the men, the men can give support to the women at home, because you know it's hard. After giving birth, you have to be there with the baby make nice day, morning, day, noon, and the man just go work and come back, and then when the baby starts, he say, yo, I'm gone, you know. Yeah, but now the women can actually get a break, and the men come and become actively engaged in the earlier years of the children. So that is a plus, I would say, right? And we are working on other things. I wonder, when I said the word paternity, you want to get nervous? I want to think I need the fraud thing I got to. Oh, just wondering. Just wondering. Yeah, so we've seen more women in leadership positions, more men taking on traditionally female roles, and a growing understanding that gender equity benefits everyone. Even in the field of library and information industry, we see where a lot of men are now becoming involved and also creating a balance within the industry as well. We know that there's still a lot of work to be done. We must continue to challenge the unconscious bias, dismantle systematic barriers, and ensure that women have equal access to leadership opportunities, fair compensation, and a safe, supportive work environment. Today, let's recommit ourselves to accelerating action, not just for the sake of our women, but for the benefit of all. A more equitable workplace is a stronger workplace. A more innovative workplace and a more fulfilling workplace is for everyone. Thank you. See what I did there? I tried to make it quick so I can go to lunch.
All right, thank you, Mr. Campbell. At this time, we have a big up by Mr. Jermaine Walker.
Good morning, good morning. Audience, to make it quick, not a minute, not more than a minute. So I just want to say that I've known myself, women have mostly shaped my professional life. Ironically, the woman that introduced me to the library field is right here in this room. Big up yourself, Mrs. Rodney Wellington. Yeah, from way back when. While I was at Jamaica Library Service, Miss Kadisha Grant, sometimes I just get a call that, Jermaine, you need to come to this meeting because you've been placed on this committee. It's happening here as well with other persons, but Kadisha was one of the stalwarts in pushing me into the library field. But the person I want to big up the most, of course she's not here today, but of course my manager Chantal Cousins. When I say props to her, props. She pushes me, she encourages me. If anything, I can literally do. She has an open door policy, I can speak to her about anything. Professional life, personal life, but overall I just want to big up all the women in NLJ. You're doing a great job, so just keep it up.
Thank you, Jermaine. At this time, I'm going to invite Mr. Honda Richardson to give us an introductory speech.
Good morning. Happy International Women's Day, everyone. Alright. Today we come together to celebrate International Women's Day, a day we use to celebrate the resilience, strength, and brilliance of you, our Jamaican women. We are people who know how to rise above challenges. There is a Jamaican proverb that says, "We little but we talawa," which describes the Jamaican woman perfectly. Small in stature, but big in spirit. Jamaican women have been trailblazers for generations, pushing boundaries and defying the odds. They prove that success isn't about where you start, but about the impact you make. Today, let's draw inspiration from a few extraordinary women who turned struggles into stepping stones and left an indelible mark on our nation. Amy Bailey believed in something simple yet revolutionary: education and self-sufficiency. With just £100, she founded the Housecraft Training Center, where she mentored and trained over 6,000 young women, giving them the tools to stand on their own. She lived by the words, "Service is the rental one pays for one's existence." So I ask you, how are we serving others? How are we uplifting those around us? Because when we empower another woman, we create ripples that last for generations. Una Marson didn't wait for opportunities, she created them. She became the first Jamaican woman to own and publish a magazine titled The Cosmopolitan, the first black woman to work as a BBC broadcaster, and a fierce advocate for gender equality. She proved that our voices matter and that no barrier is too high when we stand firm in our purpose. Let her story be a reminder. Take up space, speak your truth, demand the respect you deserve, because when we own our voices, we change the conversation. Amen. Professor Daphne Douglas shaped the future of education and librarianship in Jamaica, becoming the first woman to hold a professorship at the University of the West Indies. Her journey proves that education isn't about personal success, it's about uplifting entire communities. As another Jamaican proverb reminds us, one cocoa, full basket. Step by step, knowledge builds power, and today, more than ever, we need to invest in that power. Ladies, today isn't just about celebrating the past, it's about looking at ourselves and asking, what dreams have you been putting off because of fear? What goals have you delayed because the road looks too tough? Let today be the day you take that first step. Like Una, create your own path. Like Amy, lift someone else as you rise. Like Daphne, use knowledge as your power. Empower the women around you. Speak for yourself. Invest in your growth. And above all, remember, you are capable, worthy, and powerful beyond measure. So I leave with you this. No care how river run fast, it can't wash out the bank. No matter how strong the tides of challenges may seem, let us stand firm in our purpose. Our future is in our hands, and together we will rise. Happy International Women's Day, everyone.
No care how river run fast, it can't wash out the bank. That's a good one. At this time, I'm going to do a big up to Miss Keisha Myers. That's right. So, Keisha, she has been a rock. She has been a rock for collections development for sure. Keisha understands us, myself and Terry, and she allows us to be ourselves because she realizes that us being ourselves helps us to do the work better. Personally, when my mom died, Keisha was there. Keisha, she said a lot without saying a lot. She was just a good support. I'm sure I would have thanked you for coming all the way to country from the night before. And I want to say thank you again. Thank you for always being a safe space. Thank you for always caring for us. And happy International Women's Day. All right, so we are going into the panel discussion about now. And the theme for the panel discussion is Accelerate Action, Advancing Workplace Gender Equality. I'm going to invite the moderator first, which is Mr. Nikolai Clark, the president of NaLSA, the National Library Staff Association. One of my favorite persons in life.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
All right, next is Mrs. Andrea Dempster Chung, co-founder of Kingston Creative. Another favorite of mine, a visionary I might add. All right, next is Mrs. Carrion and Rodney Wellington, HOD, Instructional Media Services, University of Technology. I met you this morning, and you just light up the place. Yeah, I like your personality. And lastly but not least,
The boss.
Miss Kadisha Grant from Heart Trust NTA. Let me tell about that girl here. I know, right? A rebel, but I love her. So, and also Miss Dawn Beckford. I like this lady. She's young at heart, and I love that. All right, so now I'll hand over to Mr. Clark.
All right, so good morning again, everybody. Everybody can hear me clearly? All right, so let's just do a quick mic check on all the microphones. Make sure all the microphones are working.
Yes, check.
That's wonderful. All right, guys, so I'd like to think that this will be the highlights of our program today. I, for one, definitely have been looking forward to this part of it. I'll just put it right here. There, nice and safe. All right, so just to set the pace for the discussion today, we will be discussing advancing workplace gender equality. And that is as it sounds. And we have some wonderful panelists here with us today that I believe will have some very wonderful insights into this discussion. I will start by introducing Mrs. Andrea Dempster-Chung. She's a visionary in the creative and cultural sectors. Ms. Andrea Dempster-Chung is the co-founder and executive director of Kingston Creative. So you see that wonderful walkway we have out there on Water Lane? There's a lot of hard work has been put into that, and I'm sure we all enjoy coming down there. Right, so Kingston Creative is a non-profit organization dedicated to empowering artists and revitalizing Jamaica's cultural landscape. Who remembers how Water Lane used to look? Very happy to go down there. I intentionally walked the long way just to go down on Water Lane. It definitely is the highlight of the morning. Now, she is a member of the Global Creative Economy Council and serves on the advisory board of the Global Cultural Districts Network. She has a background in leadership. She has held senior roles within the government of Jamaica and served on key boards, including the Jamaica Conservation and Development Trust, the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, and the National Land Agency. So if you know what Andrea previously managed the arts portfolio for the British Council Jamaica, and she holds a Master of Science in Structural Engineering, a Bachelor of Science in Civil Environment Engineering, and is a Prince 2 Certified Project Manager. Please welcome Mrs. Andrea.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, happy to have you. Next, we have Miss Carrie-Ann Rodney Wellington. She's a leader in the library and information sector. Mrs. Wellington is the head of instructional media services at the Calvin McCain Library, University of Technology, Jamaica. She also served as the president of the Library and Information Association of Jamaica, LIAJA. Sounds familiar to my librarians? Right, for the 2022-23 term, leading efforts to unite and empower professionals in the field. With a deep passion for education and information accessibility, she continues to shape the industry through innovation and leadership. Please help me in welcoming Mrs. Wellington.
Thank you.
Next, Miss Kadisha Grant. Good, wonderful. Miss Kadisha Grant is a dedicated professional in the library and information sector. She currently serves as the second vice president and honorary treasurer of the Library and Information Association of Jamaica, LIAJA, playing a key role in advancing library services with professional development across the country. She brings extensive experience, having worked with the Jamaica Library Service and Heart NSTA Trust in roles focused on acquisitions, cataloging, and digital media production. Sounds fancy, right? With a Bachelor of Arts in Librarianship from the University of the West Indies, she's also skilled in customer service. As we all can see, she was very friendly, very nice when she came in, so we can see that that is true. You know, she has administrative management experience and digital resource curation. Her passion for knowledge, accessibility, and commitment to the field ensure that Jamaica's libraries remain vibrant centers of learning. Please welcome Ms. Kadisha. And last but not least, we have our wonderful HR director, Ms. Dawn Grant. Dawn Beckford. She is doing us such a wonderful favor because I just retired this morning and I said, I need your help, Ms. Beckford, I really need your help. And she's here, she's ready to participate, and I know we will have a wonderful discussion. So thank you, Ms. Beckford, for being here. So starting off now, I have a fun fact for you guys. So there was a 2020 report by McKinley & Company titled Diversity Wins, How Inclusion Matters. And it found that companies with gender diverse leadership teams are 25% more likely to outperform their peers in profitability. 25%. So you see how important diversity is and the impact that women have made over the years, and which is what this discussion will really focus on. Because we want to bring to the fore, we want to acknowledge, we want to speak about, we want to accelerate action on bringing to the fore the changes that have been made in the industry and how far women have come, and we want to have a positive discussion, because I don't want it to be based on just thinking about, oh, it's been so hard and we've been fighting, because we have been fighting and we have achieved. So this discussion will be about what we have achieved. We have gone to this point, what we have done to get to this point, and how we will be sure to keep accelerating action.
Yes.
All right, so let's get ourselves started. So I will start with the first question. All right, so we said, do you believe that workplace and gender equality have been achieved in your industry? Why or why not? Mr. Ntrachong?
Well, first of all, I just want to let everybody know that I actually really belong here because I'm the co-founder of Bookophilia. So this is how we should have started the conversation. So I'm a book person also. So thank you for welcoming me here again. Just so I can match it with everybody else and their library and book credentials. So when we talk about the industry that I'm in now, it's a cultural and creative industries, of which literature and publishing is a subsector. And, so it's art, it's dance, it's fashion, it's filmmaking, it's very diverse. And although we see a lot of women present in these spaces nowadays, I would not say that there is gender equality. Equality means that there's the exact same opportunities as there are for men, as there are for women. Same opportunities. And that I would not say has been achieved. When we look at women in, say, film, for example, you might see a lot of them in production, but you don't see a lot of them directing, So you have to look at, okay, are the women actually in the C-suite? Are the women sitting at the table making the decisions? Are the women moving the capital? Are the women making the investment decisions? And so I still think we have, a ways to go in this industry, in the cultural and creative industries, and ensuring that women are distributed throughout the whole sector.
Yeah, I can understand that. Miss Juanita, do you have a take on that?
Okay. I'm in the library field, and I'm a librarian, so from day one. So, historically, it was a man's job, because from the days of Papyrus Reed until today, it was a man's job. And we have seen men, but in leadership, for example, Ken Ingram at UWI, Mr. David Drisdale at UTEC. But to say that it is not female dominated would be a lie. Because all these indomitable women like Stephanie Ferguson, Joyce Robinson, all of them have been leaders at high positions, the Herman Salmon, and all of those persons were there. So I'm in a field, and the section that I'm in is mostly female and female dominated. As you see, your national librarians over the years, Miss Winsome Hudson, Miss Lashley, they've been female. So you see where a lot of women have been at the top positions in my field since independence. I just put that way. Yes, since independence.
Ms. Grant?
I will second what Kerry just said, but to add, in this generation now, we are seeing more information professionals, we're seeing more males. The number is still not high, but we're seeing more males. But one thing they're more focused on is maybe the technology part, which is not bad. But because for me, men are just, they're gamers, they're artists, and so they will tap into the digital landscape more, and you'll have maybe about 20% of the librarians in that space, and in that 20%, 20 are males. So in this generation, it's still not equal, but the men are trying to keep up.
Okay, good morning everyone. Good morning. And welcome to this our discussion session. I'm very, very happy to be here. Now, I'm in two fields. I'm in human resource management, and I'm also a teacher. And those two areas are dominated by females, as you would know. Well, we see more men getting trained in human resource management now. More men are being employed as HR officers, But at the top of HR, the director level, what we realize is that most HR managers and directors are female. But we have a few males who are at the apex, like at the deputy CEO in charge of human resource management. That's where you'll find the males. At the top, deputy to the CEO. In teaching, we have more females in the teaching world at all levels, most levels, at the secondary and the primary level, where you'll find more men at the tertiary level in teaching. And I find that I teach at the tertiary level, and I find that it's about equal with the females and males at the tertiary level. Yeah. Quite a number of doctors, persons who are trained as in different areas, are teaching, even though they may be working in other areas. If they choose to teach, right, sometimes they may teach at the university, UTech, or in other institutions. And so we are seeing more males coming into the classroom at the tertiary level. But in HR, it's predominantly female. Just yesterday, my son said to me, "Mommy, I got introduced to my new HR manager, and it's a male." Okay. So some changes are taking place there.
And I think these perspectives kind of make it a bit more interesting as well, because it even feeds into my next question. Mrs. Dr. What I've also realized is that it seems like the creative industry may be a tad bit slower to that. Do you think there's a reason for that?
I think the creative industries are heavily adopting digital, right? So you'll find people gravitating towards using AI, right? Using augmented reality. We have some on the murals over there. And so it's a digital element now, even in how music is distributed. And the stats say that 250 million, there are 250 million less women on the internet than there are men. So worldwide, women are a bit slower to adopt digital technology, and that could be a reason also why you see less women in certain fields.
I can understand
yeah.
that. I can understand that. And it feeds into Ms. Grant's point as well, because we all do realize that gaming, especially as she mentioned, mostly men will get into that, and it feeds into your point because men are more interested into the technological field, technical aspects of it. So I think that perhaps is contributing a bit to the tardiness, for lack of a better word, to the change. But it is happening, and we see now we have, even in the streaming world, for example, we find that we see more women coming into the streaming world. We find we see more creatives coming into the streaming world. So we feel like maybe some changes are coming in due time. And my follow-up question to that is, what is the most noticeable changes in workplace gender dynamics over, let's say, the past decade?
So the past 10 years, I would have to say it's really the Me Too movement. Started by a black woman, and it has really brought to the fore that sexual harassment in the workplace is not okay. I know a lot of women now in the past 10 years feel more confident to speak up, whereas before you're worried if they're going to believe you, you're worried if what's going to happen, if there's retaliation. A lot of women have, just managed that quietly, and in the last 10 years it's not going quietly anymore. People feel a lot more confident now to speak up, and I think that's a very, very good thing. As I have a daughter who's 15 who will be entering the work world, I'm actually really thankful for this shift in the last few years.
That's great. Ms. Beckford, do you have a take on that?
Well, more so in Jamaica, in my field, I realized that the women are really stepping up. They are moving up into the top positions in the organization. We have women who are not afraid now to be leaders. We have women who are now leading organizations. We have women who are becoming prime ministers. Worldwide, we see quite a number of women who are now leading their countries. We have women who have thrown their hat into the ring with our last Jamaican, what's her name again? Kamala Harris, right? in the United States, right, who put her hat in the ring to run for president. And quite a number of women are leaders. I think the Prime Minister of Mexico is a female. So the women are really stepping into leadership roles, and they are not backing down, they are not afraid, right, to move forward as leaders of their country at all levels in their countries.
Nice. And to even dig deeper into that, or ladies from Liaja, where that is concerned, do you think that even participating in Liaja is boosting the confidence, you being at the fore, other ladies were able to see you up there and being brave and taking on these fields that perhaps they would have seen more men in? Do you think that is prompting a change as well?
For me, as I said, the field is female dominated. So Mr. David Drisdale would have been one of the first, apart from Mr. Ingram and Mr. Bryant, who started the association. But in terms of male, very few males are there. But since in the last 10 or so years, we've had men ascending to the leadership. Yeah, Mr. Graham, who was here, and Mr. Aarons, and Matthew, and well, Mr. Deans, Mark Jeffrey Dean. So we've had men who have come up to the fore, but really and truly it is a female-dominated space. And because of that, when Mrs. Dempster spoke about the harassment, sexual harassment laws, I never experienced that because you had so many women around you. You felt safe. I felt safe within my workspace, at all workspace, whether in St. Anne and Kingston, because of that. So the whole business of the sexual harassment, and because of the fact that it is female dominated and a lot of women have ascended to all the top leadership posts, I felt that I could make it. But one of the things that I wanted to highlight here, hopefully we don't lose, but the thing is that of how we perceive people and their capabilities, this whole business of accessibility and inclusivity, where it comes, because right now I want to tell you that I am proud of our first VP Liaja, Dr. Sasika Harris. You know, somebody suffering a stroke as she did, and still wanting to serve, and serve well. So just the very fact that the whole workplace has changed, where you see somebody who had a stroke and say, yes, they can work, their brain is working, you know, that is also important. So then the fact that I have another person who I'm supervising, he lost his leg, but guess what? And the work world is just more inclusive, not just of male and female, but of your disabilities. They are welcoming. And I am proud of Jamaica for, you know, moving forward in this life. And that is a part of the whole diversity and inclusivity.
Have a take on that? Okay, go ahead.
Just to say that I think we should not get too comfortable. I think there are geopolitical shifts, as you mentioned, Kamala, as you mentioned, you know, diversity, equity, and inclusion. These are bad words now. There is a rising tide of the far right that is really, you know, my mother burned her bra. You know, she was very proud to tell me she was, you know, one of these rebellious little Trinidadian girls, and she was out there hearing Eric Williams speak, and she was very pro-woman to get those rights. That I was then born in the 70s, and I thought it was done. I was like, oh good, it's all over now. You know? But as you get older, you see that these things come in cycles. So I would just encourage women to be vigilant. Even though we do have rights, we have to look, you know, we're a tiny island. Everything we do is connected to the globe. And these winds of change are coming. And so, and not just because you see numbers of women in the workplace, we know from our post-colonial history that numbers don't mean power. Right? Numbers do not mean power, or equity, or rights. So, you know, we just need to be vigilant is what I would say. That's my caution as we listen to the news and as we see what's happening and realize that we're all so connected to what's happening in the world.
Yes. Understood. Do you have a remark on that?
What I would add, in the past 10 years, librarianship has evolved in terms of women are not allowing society to dictate how they look, dress, act, or feel. Prime example here. It's sometimes I feel ashamed when Mr. Jones was introducing me a rebel, and I like to start conversations. Why can't I do this? Why can't I wear my hair like this? Why can't I look like this? And for the past 10 years, I think I have been a part of that movement. And so therefore, no longer a librarian is high bun, glasses like this. And when I tell people I'm a librarian, it's like, what do you mean you're a librarian? I was like, yeah, I'm a librarian. So sometimes I just say I'm an information professional and keep it moving, because that's vague. But it's more than that, and the profession has evolved. We have information professionals in different fields. We have archivists, we have curators, we have records managers, we have digital media officers. So for the past 10 years, it's not just about books and shelves and dusting off the dust. It's about taking up space, right? So for the past 10 years, we have evolved, and I'm proud to be a part of this industry.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. I'm happy to hear that. And we see very interesting perspectives. I'd like to believe that our panel right now can really give some diverse opinions. And I can see that you, the audience, is really benefiting from this. Now we want to dive into examining the benefits of change. Right? And the first question we have here is, what are some common misconceptions about gender equity in the workplace? Mrs. Chang, that feeds into what you were mentioning earlier.
Well, I guess there's two. One is that the job is done. That is a misconception, as we just spoke about. And the second thing is that gender diversity is just about women benefiting. It's really not. Like, everything I do, I'm here for nation building.
Yes.
And if you're going to build a nation, the whole team needs to be empowered. I need to get the full talents of every single person in this country. And so, you cannot have that if people are paid less, if people are, being oppressed in their home before they even get to work. So we really need to stamp out some of even the hidden things, the gender-based violence and the inequitable salaries. That's something you don't see on the surface, but it affects the ability of everybody to contribute. So that would be my point on that.
Understood. Dr. Chapman?
I was just going to concur with what Mrs. Dempster said, because as you say, numbers really don't mean power. And though we are female-dominated industry, we are an industry within an industry. Yeah. So, for example, I'm at the University of Technology, so the library is within the whole university body. That would therefore means that those who are above us are usually male. Yeah. And so our budget is determined by them. And once the money speaks, then your power is cut. Yes. And which is true. So most times the library industry falls within another industry that is usually headed by some other gender, and sometimes females. But at the end of the day, our numbers don't mean that we are overly powerful within our space.
Ms. Grant, anything to say?
One misconception is that women are weak. And therefore you can't put women to manage certain areas because they're too emotional and they're weak. And so men are better leaders, right? And therefore you want to have the men being in charge of IT. You want to have the men being in charge of procurement. I'm sure that is not true, right, Mrs. Stamp? Right. But I find that our ladies pay more attention to details. That is what is really very critical. Yes, the men were not saying that they are not good leaders and they can't be good leaders. Yes, we have good men who are leading and they are very efficient, very effective. But sometimes if they don't have the women to point out certain details, they make a lot of errors. So they can't do it without us. They need the women, right, in certain critical areas. And it is a misconception that the women are weak and too emotional and not able to deal with very tough decisions.
Nice. I definitely do agree with that. Furthermore, what impact do you think gender equity would have on innovation and decision making within particular teams?
So innovation and decision making, these things are controlled by money. And if you look at, just how, so a woman who we have a lot of women entrepreneurs in Jamaica. And the only way you can grow your business is by getting investment. In the United States, guess what percentage of women get venture capital investment? Out of 100%, what percentage do you think of women? 2%. 98% of the money that goes to invest in new businesses goes to men. And in Europe, it's half of that. 1% in Europe. And so these are the realities. When you talk about innovation and, at Kingston Creative we run incubators and hackathons, and a lot of women come up with a lot of great ideas for businesses. We put the creatives together with the techies and they come up with new business ideas. But it's who gets funding. Who looks more investable? And sometimes it's a matter of perception. The 6-foot person in the suit might look more investable, than the woman who has a really good idea for a digital business. And so these are things we need to consider when we talk about, unlocking innovation. You have to fund the women's business ideas. Otherwise they stay small. And again, back to my point, your nation cannot grow in that way. We actually need more women to be investing. So if there's any woman here with a little extra capital, go and find a female entrepreneur and invest in her business. Until women actually get into the investment business, it's still going to go the way it's going to go.
I think that's where the problem is. Women are not investing in other women. And women tend to, as you say, we have a perception. The 6'3" looks reliable. And it is all a part of our socialization and conditioning. Yes, men are there for security, and so we would invest in a man. But if you know, what they say, necessity is the mother of invention. And listen, most of these things that are necessary are seen by women. A lot of the inventions that came about was because some woman had a problem.
Yes. What about the ironing board?
The ironing board, a lot of the things, the mask, the cell phone, this whole digital creating what's the cell phone, I don't remember the lady's name, but a lot of it is because a woman had a problem. And and so she would create something to resolve that problem. A lot of what is happening here. And even with our hairs, and we talk about the hair, is because we had a problem. It was too difficult to comb. So we created, right, and then the same problem with the extension is because of that. And the women's ideas are great, but as Mrs. Dempsey says, we need investors and capital. And women, if you have a little extra, please and thanks, invest in other women and their ideas.
I agree with that. One of the things we don't do, as she said, we don't invest in ourselves, we don't invest in our sisters. I remember when, years back, I was a co-founder for Ghetto Wise Education. And one of the members, male, every time we go to NCB, they were saying, push him at the front to, for persons to invest in us. And we had UNICEF coming in and we were to get money, but then I said, but not the idea, I don't feel my idea. He was a teacher, yes, but it was other women that were on the exec that were saying, let's do this then, let's do it. And then we didn't even realize, talking about it now, I didn't realize we were investing in ourselves. Even though he was the face of our initiative, but we were behind the scenes pushing ourselves. We had one of our tutors, she was doing her degree in medicine. And every time she comes there, when I'm introducing her to the students, I would say, this is Dr. such and such, and she would say, no, not yet. But there and then, I was already investing in her, not knowing that I was investing in her. With myself, coming up in the industry, Chantal, she's not here today, she would always encourage me, always pushing me, and I did not know she was investing in me. Right? So as women, we must just ensure that we're investing in ourselves physically, mentally, and emotionally.
Nice, and that's an interesting perspective as well, because when we hear the word investment, we always think money. But we must always remember we are now in the year 2025. Just a simple tweet, just a simple chat discussion, just a comment, just a like, and that is how you can invest. It doesn't always have to be financial investment, but just simply participating, accelerating the action to promote and to invest in these women-driven businesses, these women ideas. We need to do what we can to make sure that we keep it going and keep it strong. And it also, it's curious as well, can we think of any new initiatives or programs or efforts that have happened over the years that can help to boost this? For this program, for example, as simple as it may seem, it has the potential to be so powerful because it shows the diversity in ideas and opinions. So can we think of any initiatives or any policy changes that have been made over the years?
We are seeing one right in front of us right here. She's the creatives downtown in Kingston here on Water Lane, and that is a very great idea. Right? And for her as a woman to be heading and leading the initiative, that is something that we must give her up for. I can tell you quite a number for Jamaican women are out there innovating. Right? I am on social media as well, like as the young people. My son always come and say, you use the phone more than I do. Right? So I'm on TikTok, and I'm on Instagram, and and I make sure I know all of those. And it's mostly women I see. I see quite a number of women creating, demonstrating, doing things, making money, coming on to say, I don't know if it's true, but they're saying they're making money and they're advising other women how they can make money and so on, And if you look around us, some of the small businesses in Jamaica, they're headed by women. Jamaican women are very, very innovative and very creative, right? And the truth is, they are the backbone of this nation. We couldn't do without our women. Women, give yourself a big clap.
Yes, and to add to that, sometimes it starts from in our homes. Everybody who knows me, I'm always bigging up my mom. She passed a couple of years ago, and she worked in a factory. But this lady, wear Gansey, as them say, and jeans. She wear a tailored suit to work and stuff like that. And when I started working at 18, church clothes, I started going working. But then afterwards, I have my little jacket and my little heels and stuff like that. And, I did not realize over the years I was emulating her. Right? She influenced me. Like if somebody asked me something about something, I'd interject her in it because I did not realize she was such an influence in my life, right? And then being a woman now, I see her in me, right? And I see so much potential in myself because of this woman. So it starts there in our homes, and if we have sisters, if we have daughters, sometimes when I was younger, I did not care what my mother was saying. Like, I don't want to hear. But when you mature, you realize that, hey, she was right. She was right. So some of these starts in our home, and we must just, keep some of that within us.
I wanted to mention just, you're asking about like programs and stuff. I have to pick up the government of Jamaica through the Development Bank of Jamaica, because with their partnership, we're now about to launch something called the Fame Incubator. So it's film, animation, music, and entertainment, and it's just for women. It's an investment program where 10 women are going to come in. They're going to get specialized training female mentors. They're gonna get to meet investors and come out the other end, hopefully, with more success in their businesses. So the government is investing in women-only programs and women-only funding, and this I think is important. Unless it's coming from a policy level, you can do a lot at the ground level, but the policy level has to meet our efforts on the ground. So just big up to the DBJ and the government of Jamaica for making sure there are strong policies in place. And it's not bad to have a female Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, because, and and education, you know, so, you know, the women who are in government making these favor, right? Minister Williams. So the women who are in these positions, I think they take their role seriously in terms of making sure that there are policies that advocate for Jamaican women.
Definitely.
That is a very huge change in Jamaica to have a female Minister of Finance. She's the first ever female Minister of Finance. And we in Jamaica here, we had this opinion and this notion that the Minister of Finance must be a man, must be a man. Right? And I really must big up the Prime Minister to really have the confidence in a woman to make her the Minister of Finance. Because we all have the same brain. Yet a male brain is not different or created differently from a female brain. And the female get the same exposure, same training, same education. They do very well in their training and their education. So why is it that they can't execute? There is really no difference between a female executing and carrying out a job like a finance director and a male. And so I'm happy that in Jamaica here, we are realizing that anything a man can do, a woman can do and even do it better.
On that note, it leads even into our next section, and we want to pay more attention to our leadership, our mentorship, and our collaborations. And the first question here we have, what qualities do you think make a strong leader? And do you think leadership expectations differ for men?
Yes, I believe that the expectations differ. And I'm talking about women. Remember, I am in a strong female-dominated area. We will take women, we will take mediocre leadership from men and don't criticize them. And we work with them. But we have an excellent female leader. And we do not want to be led by such a woman. I don't know, I think it's something cultural, but it is something that we should not do. We all work women, we lead differently. I will not lead as my colleague here, and I will not lead as another colleague. So we need to appreciate each person for what they bring to the table. At the time they bring it to the table. We need to learn from them, and that's one of the things that we need to get into our heads. The leader is here for a time such as this. We are to learn and help that person to become even better, because we must understand as women that the river cannot rise above the head. So if you don't push her, you will not rise. And it doesn't make sense just because somebody is a mediocre leader and male, you take it. You should push for excellence for each gender. And that is what I like. And yeah, what is a good leader? A good leader is somebody who, for me, you just be yourself. You take what you have and you be yourself. And I don't think, for me, I am a relational leader. I like to have a relationship with persons. That's why I can talk to Jermaine. Jermaine was my student. And most of the persons here who I taught recognized that I was somebody you could come to. So I don't think that a dictatorial leader is the best leader. Somebody you can speak to, relate to. Because once you can relate to a person, I believe that you can get the most out of them. and you can get them to do more than you want them, yes, more than you want them to do. And they will put you first. I had an experience, and a couple of years back, I talk to everyone. Doesn't matter if they're grounds person or leader. And I remember we had this Hurricane 204, it was coming. And you know that the groundsman said, I'm going to deal with you first, because you're my friend. He didn't go to the principal first. Came to me, and he dealt with everything concerning library, and we were set, even before the admin office. And so it is important that we have relationship with each other. We understand each other, and we empathize with each other. And then you can get people to do far above your expectations.
And one thing to add to, when you're a victim of bad leadership, you know, you try to be a better leader. And one of the things is what would I want my leader to be, or how would want them to be, and I try to emulate that. I remember back then when I used to work in the warehouse, when I'm going in there, Jeremy as witness, I pull him. Whatever I can do, you can do. It is not about using him. And my manager before, you know, sometimes I thought she was using me, and I was like, why she want me to do this and what? But she saw potential in me, and she was leading me to be great. So one of the things when we see persons trying to help us to build our careers, sometimes we're not supposed to look at it as that they're using us, but they're building. So therefore for me, I try to build on other people's potential, person's potential. If I realize this person like art, I try to push them in a different direction. If I realize I like music, I try to create a workspace so they can have like a background music, and you know, I just want to gain more from them while I am gaining more from them while they are gaining more from me. Yes.
Thank you. I think a lot about leadership. I think a lot, period. Probably too much. I'm an analyzer. But I think a lot about leadership. And for me, service is the first thing. Like, leadership for me is service. You have to be serving something other than yourself. It's not about you being in front and ego-driven. It has to be service. And there was a Latin phrase that, you know, in my 20s, I read it and it stuck with me, which was primo inter pares. And it is you're first among equals. Whoever you're leading, they are the same as you. Nobody no better than anybody else in the leadership team. Right. The second thing is values. So every single place that I've gone and led, my personal values have to align with these values. Like if there's no alignment, it can't work. And so I lead from a place of values. So when something is not going wrong, it's because we don't have integrity. It's because the respect is not there. It's because the caring is not there. So that's my compass. And it makes me easy to lead. I mean, it makes it easier for me to lead in any organization. And then I want to talk to my young women. Is anybody in here under 30? Raise your hands. Or feels under 30, feel free, right? No, I mean, if you are a leader, you're a leader from your tiny. My granddad remembers coming to collect me at the playground, and I was organizing the other little 2-year-olds like in a circle or something. And leadership is there, but then the world gives you some signals, right? I heard a lot of, why you're so pushy, why you're so this, why you're so that, as I was coming up. It almost would have made me not want to go into a leadership position because that feedback was so negative. And perhaps it's the same traits that would have been in a boy, you would have said it was a leader, a young man, but in a woman, you're too pushy. And I know some people in here can relate. In the corporate world, you're going to get some of that. And I have to say that you have to learn to have several tools in your toolbox. I am still pushy. I am still driven. If there's something that's very important on the critical path, must get done, I am going to push. But I've also learned that sometimes you need a screw. It's not always a hammer. Sometimes you need a screwdriver. Sometimes you need a wrench. Sometimes you need to just buff it off with a little cloth, you know. So having those different ways to get your message across and understanding different people, I think is really important. You need to understand who your message going to. So don't stop being pushy. Don't stop being a leader. Just learn the other skills that you need to add to your mix. You're perfect as you are. You're perfect as you are. You just need to know what other little seasonings you need to add to the soup to nice it up. There's nothing wrong with your leadership style. You just need to add things to it to modulate it. And I hope that helps, because that is something I had to learn through hard years of experience.
And you know what I find so great about this discussion? It seems like you guys are just feeding into my next questions. Because it's so funny, because now I want to get into even what we were mentioning earlier about mentorship. You say you prioritize building relationships with persons. And that's relating to mentorship as well. Because you know you have a wonderful relationship with the person that you supervise, and in the HR field I'm sure you can relate to that as well. You know, building relationships with persons. So the question is, how do you see the role of mentorship in professional growth, and do you think access to a proper mentor has become more balanced? No.
Yeah, that is really very, very, very important. To mentor the younger generation is extremely important, because your life is a lesson. The persons who you're leading, the persons who you're working with, they are observing you, they are taking their cues from you, they are learning from you, and they expect that you will provide that guidance and that mentorship, right, that will help them to move to the next level. In my own life, I was mentored by my manager, my first manager, because I was always in the classroom. I was always a teacher. And when I was a teacher in the classroom, my principal was my mentor. And my teaching career was successful, was molded because of the principal of that school that I attended. Now, when I left the classroom and went to work in the organization, my first manager that I worked with, I remember saying, if I should be a leader, if I should be a manager, I would really love to manage like this lady. These are some of the things that I'll take into my own management experience. And I always call on the things that I learned from her as a mentor when I eventually became a manager. I call on that. And the other thing too is, as I said, your life, your leadership position is a lesson. I was able to compare the second manager that I had when I left that first one that I admired so much. I was able to make a comparison and to say I would never like to manage like this manager. I would never like to copy or to emulate this person. So when I eventually became a manager and had my staff, I was able to draw on what I learned from my mentor, right? That was the first manager that I worked with. Myself now, as a manager, as a director, I mentor so many young HR professionals. Right? They look to me for guidance, and I teach them, I teach the area, but outside of just giving them knowledge, I also coach and mentor them, and that is something that they really benefit from and they look forward to, and I think I'm making a difference in their lives.
Nice, nice. Scott, have you anything to say?
One of my mentors for Liaja is sitting right beside me. And I remember when I went on the exec, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, I feel lost. And like every minute I would call her, and sometimes I feel like I was annoying her. And going forward in that position, I felt guided, I felt protected. And by time the elections, and she whispered in my ears, I'm going up to say something, and you just say yes. I was like, okay. And she said, the exec is nominating Kadisha Grant as second vice president. I was like, we never discussed this though. And I said, yes. You know why? to that 1 year that she was guiding me and, you know, helping me to advance in the leadership role in Leaja. I felt protected, and she, I don't want to say mothering me, but she ensured that I did not make a mistake. So up to date now, everybody call an IPP. So if something wrong with the money, we call IPP. If something wrong with the constitution, we call IPP. And you know, we need mentors like these, and I can say that she has been a great influence on other members. If nobody don't tell you, please know that. So big up to Terry.
Excellent, excellent. So I also wanted to talk about, what do you think are the characteristics of a truly meritocratic work environment?
That's where we're going now. Right? That is where we're heading. That is a work environment with talented people, gifted people, people who are very good at what they do. And what I find is that persons now in the workplace are excellent. The children, you realize that there's a change with our Jamaican children in the primary school. When anyone put a mic at the mouth of our children in the primary school, you realize how they can deliver and can really speak up now. Same thing in the high school. So we get these very brilliant, talented young people coming out of university in the workplace. And we just have to allow them. We have to allow them to demonstrate their skill set and to demonstrate their talent. And we, the older folks in the workplace, we are not to feel threatened by them. We are not to feel threatened by them. We are to give them the leeway, give them the space, right, to really grow and to really make changes. Because they are coming into the workplace where we have all these archaic policies that were not changed for many years. Yes. And they are going to be challenging them. And they are not rude, they are not insubordinate, they are not out of order, because they are challenging. The changes need to take place. And if they are pointing out to say, why don't you do this differently? Why can't we do that differently? I think we as the older managers in the organization need to give them some space and put them in charge of areas and don't micromanage them. Allow them to use their talent and to really make changes in the organization.
Well, meritocracy. I say that it's after lunch, I'm with people, so I'm using that as my excuse. One of the things is that we allow them to do, but what I want the persons who are coming behind us is to be willing to be used. We are not, you know, sometimes this generation, I don't know what alpha letter they are at now, but we are at Z now. Or AR. We start again?
Yeah, Gen Alpha.
Yes, I tell you. Listen, when those who are above you in leadership and authority ask you to do something, they are not trying to use you. They can't pay you. We work, especially for me, in our sphere, we work for government. But be willing to take the guidance that they are offering you. Be willing to learn the skill. Be willing to stretch yourself. I had a leader at one point, and she just demanded so much of me, and I was upset at some point. But when I left the organization and I looked behind me and I saw the amount of things that I was able to accomplish during that time, when I went elsewhere, I was proud of myself. I was asked to do things because of what? My accomplishments. So when they ask, please be willing to do, because they are trying to stretch you. And in this world, remember, the world is not kind. And I want you to know that. So when they are leading, when they are mentoring you. Follow, go along. Because remember, we were all mentored at some point or the other in our lives. Whether you're at church and somebody says, go moderate, go read the scripture, do it. It is helping you to build your public speaking skills and all of those wonderful skills. Do it, be stretched, because you don't know where you're going to be in the next 10 years. And so even with Miss Debs, when she was there and she was being pushy, I know somebody was pulling her along. And look at where she is. I am so proud of her and where she is at. And I'm following the artwork and I'm liking. Yes, I press the like thing. I don't do the comment part, but I press the like buttons. And that is part of the investment.
Is this the part of the show where I can invite everybody to come on the last Sunday in April, to the carnival themed art walk? I want to see my whole NLJ, but want to all owner there, please, thanks.
Sure. Alright, so you see, that's very nice. Very nice. I enjoy that. And just to wrap up, last question of the day. I would like for us to try and share what we think one major change, just one change that you think would have the biggest impact on the future of gender equality. Just one.
I think if it's one change is so hard. Yeah. I think people just need to see people as people. I think we need to evolve to where we're not looking at your sexual orientation, we're not looking at your level of disability, we're not looking at, we're not looking at whether you're pretty or ugly. We need to just see people as people and see beyond all that. I know it's like if I had a magic wand, but this is where I would like to see us go, because I think we'll achieve more if a lot of those lenses and barriers and divides that we put up, who brown, who dark, there's so many things that we allow to divide us. So if we can consciously, when we step into the workplace, have a culture where we remove those things and really try to see to the heart of a person, I think that would be really powerful for what we can achieve together.
Nice. Anybody else?
I remember some years ago when Miss Hudson says there are 7 levels of why. So you do something and you ask yourself why, and then why of that why, and why of that why. And when you are doing or thinking or feeling something, ask the whys, and you get down to the bottom of your core, that is the word, of what motivates you. And that's what I want you to ask yourself. When you see somebody and you are going to speak against or speak for, why are you doing all of this? And if the value at the core is good, continue. And if it is bad, stop. And as you'd say, it's just about what is in you. Bring out the best in you and showcase the best of you to the world. And when you do that, you realize that the lenses don't really matter. You don't see tall or short, fat or slim, black or white. You realize that the core of humanity is good.
All right. And on that note, I would like to thank my panelists for making it here today. Sure, you can applaud. When the team and I were making considerations for who would like to be on the panel, we, as I said before, we wanted to have a fairly diverse panel because we feel like the perspectives that will come from the various industries, the various backgrounds, the various experiences will contribute so much to the discussion. And I feel like we have all seen that today and we've all benefited from that today. So I want to thank the panelists for making the time to be here and to show their support to us, the NLJ team, the NaLSA team. I want to thank you for being here. Thank you so much.
Can I just say one thing though, Mr. Chair? Just to remind, I'm sure persons are aware, but I don't hear anybody mention it. So I just want to remind persons that tomorrow, the 8th of March, is the real International Women's Day. So today is a pre-Women's Day celebration, all right?
Yes. So thank you so much, guys. You can turn to the seats now.
right. Such a lovely discussion, right? Okay. So, it was mentioned that tomorrow is actually International Women's Day. So what I want each and every person in here to do tomorrow is to send a lovely message to another woman. So men to a woman, women to another woman. Not just Happy International Women's Day. Say something meaningful and uplifting. And this is generally, we have to uplift each other. We have to speak life into each other. Right. So, I don't want it to be surface. I want it to have meaning. Reach out to somebody that you wouldn't normally reach out to. Right? So you know me, Keisha, my manager. I won't be reaching out to Keisha. I'll be reaching out to Mrs. Tam. That's why I'm going to get a number today. Or one of our new staff. So something like that. We need to start exercising a mindset of building each other. So that's the task for tomorrow. At this time, Omar? Jermaine? Aaron? Aaron. Alright, so we're gonna have another big up. But in the meantime, I'm gonna big up Mrs. Jones. The Joneses. My neighbor. If I don't see her in the day, I'm going to message her. Or the next day I say to her, so when I can never come at work. And if I'm not at work, she'll come the next day and say, I missed you yesterday. It is important that you have people who really realizes your value. Kundal is a very special place. Mrs. Barr can attest even though she's from exec. Right? We have some lovely discussions. We don't do surface things down there stuff. Deep.
Yes.
And so we find that our area is pleasant to work in. So another task is, in your area, speak about things that it might bother you, it might not bother you, you may just see it as a headline or something. Just talk about it. Share opinions. This is how you build relationships and you realize that you can work with various personalities. So even the person you think you don't like, because you see them do a one thing one time, and you just judge them for that, I'm imploring each and every one of you to just have a conversation with that person.
Yes.
Your perspective might change, especially women. We find that a lot of women talk bad about other women, and that needs to change. And that's a change I didn't hear. Women need, just like investing in other women. So build each other. Omar, ready?
Good afternoon again, everyone. I would like to pick up, well, it's a lot, but I'm going to narrow it down to two ladies. First one is Mrs. Barr. You know, I want to pick up Mrs. Barr. When I came in, the transition was smooth. She's a very good leader, you know. And little about anything I can go to her about, and she can always give good advice. And the second lady is Cherise. Cherise is yeah, Cherise is my work friend, you know. We can level about anything.
Wait.
Don't get jealous of me. You get your time. Alright. Yeah, so I just wanted to big up those two ladies for always, you know, being a listening ear and always giving me good advice. Alright? Thank you.
Alright? And big up Miss Lashley too. Yeah. At this time, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you that came out today, to our guests. Thank you for coming and sharing yourselves with us. We appreciate it. At this time, I'm going to ask Mr. Clark, with the assistance of Jermaine. Yeah? Mr. Campbell, we are going to present, a little token to our guests. All right, Kadisha.
Hold on, I trim the look what going outside.
Ready?
Remember the
Grant,
stand, remember the stand.
thank you so much. You know, I can always depend on you, and I'm so grateful to have you here. Your insight was truly valuable to our discussion, and this is just a token of our appreciation. I hope you like what's inside.
Thank you.
Who's next on the glitter train? Mrs. Wellington, I am so grateful. So grateful. Came here early and I'm so happy to have seen you. I'm happy to have met you for the first time, and I do appreciate all your perspectives, and you made me wish me to work like that with you. I wish, but it's how it is, maybe in the future, you never know. So thank you so much.
Be boss, be boss, be boss.
This beautiful dress will be very glittering. Mrs. Dempsey Chung, I'm so happy to have met you for the first time today as well, and I look forward to collaborating with you again. I truly enjoy your perspectives, I enjoy the way you convey your ideas, and I'm really looking forward to having more conversations with you. Thank you so much.
I'll smile, one smile, yeah, well. Right, smile, thank you. Thanks, babe.
And next we have Miss Lim. Slim, thank you so much for coming here. We definitely enjoyed your pieces. I, for one, always enjoy whenever I'm at an event and you're presenting your pieces. I enjoy hearing from you. Yes, it's not the first time I'm hearing from you. And I really always enjoy your pieces, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you again. Thank you for making the time for us. Thank you for being here.
One big thing.
A big smile for me, thank you.
I just checked since you guys didn't check.
It's Lady B, Lady Bosamanti. Her birthday is the 8th of March. And Edna is the 28th. So, February. So she and I are, Pisces, because today is my birthday. So thank you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
And next we have Mr. Mikhail Campbell. I want to say thank you. I could have felt your interest when you heard about our program, and I'm very happy to have had you come in and speak to our ladies today. I really know they've benefited, and it's always good to have the male perspective when we're trying to action these changes, because ladies, you are not alone in championing these changes. Men are here to support as well, and we will lend our support as best as we can. So, Mr. Campbell, thank you so much for coming today.
That's diversity.
Sorry, have them all come back together.
Everyone? Um,
Yeah, please go ahead. You know what? You had a mic for Ryan.
Oh, the one man in the middle. Monica at the end, okay, yes.
You go this way.
Alright, look up this way because I 1, 2, 3, big smiles. Say NaLSA. Say NLJ. Or it's going to be a video, so you're going to say whatever you want to say right
all right, so we have come to the end of today's proceedings. Big up Joyce.
One anti-Joyce.
So you have to do, just because you always do something? Right. But I love you. So we have come to the end. We have some refreshment on the outside. The men are going to serve you ladies today. So walk good and enjoy the rest of your day.
I want to take a picture behind that.
I'm going to put.
Oh yeah. I'm going to say how Odin get back his gold. This was very, very enriching. It was very enriching, very fulfilling. So we had this, yeah.
Big up Terry.
You see if you get
Very always
So she said of course that she have the hands now, so.
Okay. I go on some milk going up because who she asked to help out
Gavin?
me, so